With only one episode left after this one, everybody knew the show had been canceled. We've seen several shows that basically gave up when they learned that, and everybody just put in their time and collected that final check. Who cares if there's anything of quality in it now? I'm delighted to say that our current show did not do that. This episode is one of the best yet. A lady walking a Doberman, a little dog running away, and a school bus loading up. Those three factors will come together to get our story rolling. Jesse is nearby studying...
It is incomplete.
Something wrong?
I would like the rest of it.
Right.
I am no longer fooled by rip-you-offs.
Look, pal, I don't know where you're from, but around here, donuts have holes.
For what purpose?
For what purpose? I'll tell you the truth. Nobody ever asked.
When I was growing up, I assumed it was so they could sell donut holes separately, but I don't think that's accurate.
Lovey, no! Come back here! Oh, no! Look out! Thank you.
You okay?
I'm fine, thanks. Really.
In his time on Earth, Jesse has only ever found one other person who could have done that. Him. Who is this kid? He heads to the school to find out.
The first class starts in a few minutes and no one is here yet. Look, I don't want to hear about your problems. You promised me a qualified sub to fill in this week. I need help now.
Excuse me, I am here to help.
Never mind, he's here.
Suddenly, he's a substitute teacher. I've done that job. He thought being a warrior was scary.
It's crazy. Who else would the school send to the Junior Statesman Convention except you?
I don't know, but I've been waiting for this all year. Anyway.
You're the class president. You should be the delegate. What's her problem, anyhow?
You know, Ginger, this is the first chance for me to go out in public. You don't know what this means. I'll be able to speak out on issues.
One of the teachers will describe Bill Mitchner as the classic overachiever.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm really dying in geometry. You think you can give me a little help?
Sure, man. How about after practice, okay?
All right, thanks. Great.
See you then.
How do you ever get your own homework done with all the help you give everyone else?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, man, what's up? It only takes me a minute to do my homework.
In 5 honor courses? Great.
Okay, some nights it takes me 2 minutes.
Case in point, he thinks he's the only qualified candidate for this thing. To put it bluntly, he's driven. He pushes himself to the limits and beyond, and a lot of people are getting concerned, including his girlfriend Ginger. Something this show did a lot was give a shot to relative unknowns and folks who were somewhat new to the acting world. It made a nice stepping stone to more jobs, and our casting directors seem to have been happy to help struggling actors. Our boy Doug Johnson here is a good example. He did a lot of bit parts from 1969 on, but this show gave him a chance to be the guest star. And he did an excellent job. As we'll see, his expressions in particular are on par with Martin Kove's. Then in 1998, he just vanishes from the acting records. While trying to find just about anything on him, I came across this perfect example of how much information there is. Doug Johnson is an actor who is known for The Spook Who Sat by the Door, Hard Time on Planet Earth, Stir Crazy, and The Dinner. Born on Comma, Doug Johnson hails from New York, United States. As in 2023, Doug Johnson's age is NA. And there's lots more non-information, his age, his height, his zodiac sign. Nobody knows a thing about him. But those of us who have seen this episode will remember him. Likewise with Ginger. Her real name is Christine Blackburn. She has a degree from UCLA and she's active in SAG-AFTRA. You now know as much about her as I was able to find. But how often have we seen these lesser lights shine? The unsung character actors, the struggling ones who, when they do get a job, they put everything they have into it. We've seen it several times in this show, and we'll see it again today.
Why does that song only have one note? I have heard other songs on the radio, and they have many notes. Why does that only have one?
What, the bell?
Mr. Foot on Desk is going to try to be the smart aleck who disrupts the class and eats the substitute for lunch. I had one of those one day when I was subbing, and I'm sorry to say he succeeded. I wasn't prepared for something like him and didn't know what to do. But Jesse is so innocent with his questions, that actually sparks a discussion about what constitutes music and what constitutes noise.
The definition of noise is irregular vibrations at irregular intervals, whereas the definition of music is regular vibrations at regular intervals. Therefore, the bell could be considered music. Teacher is correct.
Any Animaniacs fans here? Remember Wacko's two-note song? It was Bill's definition of music. Now, listen to this. That's a snippet of a piece called Threnody for the Victims of Hiroshima. Bill said music has regular intervals. Here's a sample of what the score to that piece looks like. Notice something missing, like notes? Those lines mean do this until you're told to stop. They come in when they're told to on a signal from the conductor, as we saw. Is that music? You be the judge. As a trained classical musician, I have my own opinion, but I'm pretty sure Bill would say no. Jesse wants to know what they've been working on. He's told human anatomy. That excites him, and not for the reasons your naughty mind might think.
My first question. Why can the human species only see from the front of them?
This wasn't covered in the assignment.
Yeah, right.
The greatest threat of attack comes from the rear. Now, in the fight for survival, the human species suffers from great disadvantage.
That's especially true if you're the parent of a 3-year-old. 360-degree vision would be a great boon. People talk about the terrible 2s, but 3 is much, much worse. At 2, they've become mobile and are learning how to get into everything. At 3, they have that, and they've learned to tell you no. No comparison. I think Bill's figured out what Jesse is. Jesse is still working on Bill, but he has a fair hypothesis going.
Ah, this explains why the youths of this society disappear every day from 9 until 3. They are held in these warehouses and subjected to intense programming.
I have never heard the American school system described more accurately.
I am most impressed. You call and they come at once. You have trained them well.
He's more right than he realizes. Why do we still use the factory model? It was developed in the 19th century and is intended to create drone workers for the factories that the fat cats get fat off of. It is specifically designed to get you used to being part of an assembly line, doing drudgery tasks over and over all day, being in nice, neat rows and columns, and letting the bell govern your day. It's designed to keep you in your place and don't try to be something more. It's the backbone of the American caste system. People badmouth the system in India, where you're born into a certain level of society, and that's the caste you live in your whole life. And then they head off to their factory job and obey the bell like good little lower caste people. My complaint: everybody talks about how outdated it is and the need to change. Everybody talks. Nobody does. To his credit, one of Bill's many ambitions is to fix that.
Hi, how's it going?
I just came from a room where none of the young people knew the answers to any questions.
Frustrating, isn't it? And that's an honors class.
Tell her what questions you were asking, Jesse. That could make an interesting conversation.
And then the song came on again, and they all walked out.
Well, you shouldn't let them play their radios in class. They will pull any stunt on a substitute. Don't let it get to you. I'm Janet Gleason. I'm a teacher here.
Jesse.
If I can help you in any way, let me know.
Miss Gleason.
Yeah?
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Miss Gleason is the key to Bill getting that delegate spot. She's not so sure she should give it to him. She feels he's stretched too thin.
He was an orphan. He went through foster homes and institutions. Nobody could handle him. But somehow he managed to pull himself up and turn himself around.
A difficult maneuver.
As we'll see, he didn't do it alone.
He deserves a lot of credit, but he's a classic overachiever. I look at him and I see a kid headed for burnout.
He does not appear to be burning.
But he is. Inside. He's driving himself so hard, I'm afraid someday it's going to destroy him.
I've known people like that. One guy was so into himself and being important, he decided his family was holding him back, so he dumped his wife and 3 kids. How important did he become? If I were to drop his name, I can guarantee everybody here would say, "Who?"
So, anything else today?
No, I think that's everything.
All right.
Hi, Mrs. Tucci.
Oh, hello, Bill.
Great strawberries today. You know, Mr. Tucci loves strawberries on his bran flakes.
You're right. You better give me some. Oh, he's such a good boy, Mr. Roberts. You've been a fine guardian to him.
It took quiet, gentle greengrocer Mr. Roberts to help Bill settle down and start building a life. Bill calls him Pop, which I love. Everybody is excited that he just got a scholarship to Harvard. He's gonna be a lawyer.
Never get tired of the law. You'd make a fine grocer, Mr. Strawberries on the bran flakes.
In 10 years, I could help you turn this grocery store into a supermarket. A chain of supermarkets.
To run a supermarket, I'd have to be Superman. Thank you very much. I'm happy.
He has a nice business and he has you. What more does he need? Bill is off to baseball practice. He's our star pitcher.
Hey, Mitchner, give the hand a break, okay? I don't mean break it.
Come on, Mitchner. Drag him out.
Jesse, that arm is going to take us to the state championship again this year.
Only the arm?
Yes, it's detachable so they can put it on any kid and he throws like that. That is such a Jesse question. Nobody can hit his fastball. How about we let Jesse try?
Mr. Jesse, you're supposed to get out of the way if it's too far inside.
I had millimeters to spare.
He didn't fall for the dust-off. Okay, let's put the fastball right down the pipe. Bill isn't just puzzled, he's angry. Nobody has hit his fastball before, and we have a fair idea why. This isn't helping.
Hey, big guy. Mr. Jesse really connected on you today.
That's not an isolated incident. Several of the guys are ribbing him about it. He doesn't think it's funny. He has a question for Mr. Jesse.
Why do humans have 2 of so many things? You know, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 livers, 2 kidneys, 2 eyes, 2 ears.
2 livers. The human anatomy only has 1 liver.
My mistake.
Now Jesse's fairly certain of what Bill really is.
Yes? Oh, Bill, hi, come in.
Hi. You wanted to see me?
Yes?
What's going on here? Looks like something to do with fluorocarbons.
Yes, I thought it would be interesting if the class could see the effect they have on the ozone layer, but I'm still trying to figure out the best way to illustrate that.
She's the chemistry teacher, by the way, but she didn't ask him here to talk about fluorocarbons. She's not recommending him for the Junior Statesman's Convention. She believes he's pushing himself too hard. He looks exhausted and his grades have started to slip.
I don't think you understand how important this is to me. Really, please.
I know how disappointed you are. I just feel like you have enough to handle right now.
She talked about how everything he does is so amazing. They all have a tendency to let him do whatever he wants, and they're not doing him any favors.
The human capacity for ignorance never fails to amaze me.
Somebody is unaccustomed to being told no, which kind of proves Ms. Gleason's point. If he can't handle some disappointments and setbacks, he's going to end up in a straitjacket or prison.
Ah, these numbers are called grades.
Yes, I've encountered one student with much higher numbers than all the rest. What does this mean?
It means he will acquire a good job, a wife, a sports car, and the title Yuppie.
The 80s were a special time, weren't they? The age of selfishness and excess, beamers and lattes, yuppies and humans. Remember Foot on Desk Kid? He goes by Jojo, and he and a friend are getting ready to pull a prank. This looks like a great idea. He's going to spray paint something, and as we can see, he's not the first. He is, however, the clumsiest. Jesse and Bill are both rushing to the scene.
Get some help! I can't hold on!
Slide down the pole.
It helps if you yell, "Whee!" while you do.
I can't let go!
Put one hand on the pole. I'll hold it steady.
That's it, Jojo. One hand, now the other. Slowly. Slide down the pole slowly.
You get the feeling it's time for them to have a long talk. This is too much fun. No, there's not a mirror there. And mirrors don't reflect sounds anyway. That really is another control.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? I've been here for almost 18 years.
That tells us who her charge is, as if we need to be told.
What are you doing here?
I am assigned to Earth as a correctional monitor.
As am I. You mean they're sending other prisoners here now?
Yes, they are, and clearly they didn't think it through. How many others are here, and what's to keep them from encountering each other like this, especially when they send them all to the same city?
You were too young to remember, but I was a great leader once.
An elder on the council?
Yes. I had a reputation of bringing order to chaos. Do you know, it was under my guidance that the intergalactic mass transports finally ran on schedule.
So why were you sent here?
Because I tried to bring order to the most chaotic thing of all, the governing body.
Translation, he staged a coup attempt. It failed.
Well, they said all the leaders of the coup were executed.
Well, because of my many years of great service, I was spared. But my name was purged from the histories. And I was given the very special indignity of being placed on this planet in the body of an infant.
At least they didn't do that to you, Jesse, although it would have made for an interesting series. I don't pity the casting director who would have had to find that baby.
This is a violation of your directive.
There is to be no contact with anyone from home during your sentence.
We are more a part of this planet than our own now. The directive does not apply.
Controls. There has been no prior knowledge here. We should not suffer any consequences.
Again, point your whatevers at the big brains who sent them both to the same city on the same planet.
It is inconceivable that your programmer would not inform you of our presence here.
Are you suggesting that I am in some way responsible?
I have had a spot
Robot fight!
on this record for 18 years, and now this cheap new model's blunder.
I will not hover here and allow an outdated unit with a low definition dome.
Ooh, that's hitting below the thing.
Talk to me that way.
Your video banks are filled with television programming. If you would pay less attention to TV and more attention to your prisoner...
You two go play somewhere else. We're going inside to have dinner at my place.
Yes. It is good to have a friend from home here.
And a friend from home with good food is even better.
Bonding, camaraderie, interdependence.
Negative outcome.
Not good.
I have a solution to your problem. Just go with it.
He is your parent here?
The government requires me to have a guardian until I'm 18. It's not a bad sore. For a human, anyway. At first, I rebelled. Trapped in a child's body. I was humiliated and angry. But now I'm making the best of a bad situation.
I have a feeling Pop had a lot to do with that. But once he decided not to fight it, he started making his plan.
I've studied the society very carefully. And I've decided to become president.
Of this country?
To start, there are clearly defined paths to power. I will need a law degree and to be a sports hero. And if necessary, I will become an actor.
Nice little jab at the Reagan years, which had only just wrapped up. His plan doesn't stop there. Eventually, he'll take over the whole planet and do what he's known for doing, bring order to chaos. Jesse says we're not supposed to draw attention to ourselves. You could end up with an even longer sentence.
The elders lied. We are never getting off this planet no matter how hard we try. Don't you see? This is their last bitter punishment towards us.
He says those reports your control sends, nobody reads them or listens to them or whatever. They're pure formalities. We're going to spend the rest of our lives here, so I'm going to make the most of it and do what's best for me.
I don't understand. It was a simple demonstration that I was preparing for class.
Have you done this demonstration before?
No, but the chemicals weren't dangerous. This shouldn't have happened.
He's going to do what's best for him, no matter who gets hurt. Jesse and Control are examining the room.
A human friend has been hurt. I must remain here and determine what has happened.
Quite simply, the fire was caused by a catalytic reaction resulting from the introduction of highly compressed silicon into a hydrocarbon chlorination process. Basic knowledge.
Knowledge most basic on our planet. But beyond human science.
Jesse already had a fair idea, but that's the evidence he needs to confront Bill.
It was a minor diversion.
She could have died.
Look, I made certain that the flash was contained. I just want her out of the way.
You sent her out in an ambulance. I'd say you succeeded.
She cares about you. She's concerned about your future.
The Junior Statesman Convention is covered by every major news journalist in the state. That is the future.
He suggests they form an alliance. They've both already fought against the system at home. Why not team up? Jesse says, I fought against the leaders. I believe in the system.
We must make our own system if we are to survive this wasteland. You are a great warrior. I am a great statesman. Alone, I am powerful, but we could conquer the world in half the time.
I'm pretty sure Pop's never heard him talk like that before. Jesse says, isn't the lust for power the greatest evil there is?
You are either with me or you are against me.
You could never settle for a true ally. In time, you would even betray me.
The best part about that, Bill doesn't deny it. He just says, fine, but stay out of my way.
You could really do it, couldn't you?
What?
Turn this place into a big deal?
Why, are you changing your mind, Pops?
How is it possible? Someone so young can be so ambitious.
It's the American dream, isn't it?
No. No, it's more than that with you. You want to be on top of the mountain.
Did you hear me say that?
He heard it all. He says, I know you're not exactly what you seem to be. Now Bill is getting nervous, but that's not what Pop means.
I know there are two Bills inside that body. The one that I know, and there's the other Bill. The one who's so alone, so private. With a secret that's so dark he can't even share it with me.
The thing is, Pop doesn't care about any of that. The only reason he pays any attention to that other Bill is because he cares about both of you. And he knows what that other guy is doing to you.
Why do you say that?
I just knew. Ah, Bill, you're too good to be true. Still, you're not as happy as you'd like everybody to think you are.
The truth is, he's not happy at all. He's given up on ever going home. He's decided that he's completely cut off, alone in the universe, so all he can do is look out for number one. Being happy is impossible under those circumstances, so he'll settle for being powerful and important.
I know to many people my life seems insignificant. Grocer, a merchant. What has he achieved, huh? Well, I'll tell you what. I have friends. I have neighbors. And loyal customers who know I am fair and reasonable. Bill, take some advice from an old man. To be happy, you don't need to be a big deal.
The wisdom in that simple statement could alter the world. What if Hitler had been satisfied being a painter? I was chatting with a friend the other day, and they sort of poo-pooed my musical background because I never experienced being on the road and doing the same songs night after night after night. And you know something? I consider missing that life one of the greatest blessings Jesus ever gave me. You know why? I see what it's done to them and their friends. So many of these people are the same age I am, and their bodies are frickin' done. Not only that, right down the line, it's divorced, lifelong single, has kids but estranged from them, never sees them, divorced, alone, alone, alone. Not everybody I know is in that condition, but too many of them are. That's not to mention the ones that died prematurely because of the punishment they inflicted on themselves. If you want to try and diminish me because I didn't do that, be my guest.
We'd like to ask you a few questions about the accident in Miss Gleason's classroom.
Is he the one you saw sneaking into her room after class?
Yes, officer. He's the one.
Remember what I said about his expressions? There you go. The guy's a good actor. And Jesse is in trouble. He's handcuffed in the back of a police car headed for that ever-popular station downtown. I'm not sure how much that improved his situation, but at least he's out of the cuffs. Once the lady gets the car stopped, he takes off and heads for the ball field at school.
Fear not, my friend. The people of this planet will love me. Or they will learn to.
Which means he'll try to force them to. Which means he has no clue what the word love means. I want to see him explain this to Ginger and see what she thinks about his definition of love. Jesse says, I'll expose you. I'll tell them everything.
It is forbidden. You cannot tell them of our extraterrestrial origins.
Since when does he care about any of that? He's already decided the council couldn't care less what they're doing here. Suddenly they will.
You will be immediately terminated.
That look is telling us the part Bill won't say out loud. Yeah, I'll be terminated. So will you.
I will save the council the trouble by killing you myself.
He knows what Jesse is, and he thought that would do it. Maybe being a human teenager is affecting him more than he realizes. It's time for the showdown. I realize that's a throwing javelin, but maybe he should have held it out like a jousting lance. And I am going to take a chance because this is too good to interrupt. World's biggest quarterstaff battle. And Jesse lost. Jesse, didn't you ever watch The Mask of Zorro? Pointy end goes in the other guy.
Kill me if you must. You can rule this world. But will it bring you any closer to home? Somewhere deep in your soul, there resides a noble statesman, a leader, well respected. Is it worth the risk? If there is any hope in returning, you must trust the system.
People are corrupt. We all are, like it or not. It's built into our nature. A well-designed system has checks and balances to account for that and ensure that the system itself works even when those operating within it don't. In recent years, the United States has discovered some holes in its checks and balances that need to be plugged, but that's the nature of any system. You don't know what part of it isn't working until some self-important goon comes along and tries to destroy it. You put the goon in prison and fix the holes. It's been that way since we started walking upright, and it'll always be that way. Just make sure you don't let the goons destroy it all first.
I'd forgotten about home.
How? Jesse's been reminding you about it for the whole episode. But he means he had forgotten how important it was to him. He had forgotten what's waiting for him there, like friends, maybe family, familiarity, not to mention his own real body. Bill is having an epiphany.
This is only a trial. We were sent here to learn.
Learn from a simple human grocer who only knows he's fair and reasonable.
maybe it's time that was enough for you. My daughter used to listen to a group called Out of the Gray. My favorite song of theirs says this: "So we never got to Paris and found the cafe of our dreams, but our table holds a whole world of memories. No, we never went to Venice and strolled the streets alone, but we built our worlds together and we got the best of both." Mr. Roberts understands what that song is saying, and suddenly, so does Bill.
From now on, what I give to this world, I will give quietly, without recognition, without reward.
Trust me, Bill, there's plenty of reward in changing the world one person at a time. Go make one person's life better in whatever way they need it. When they ask what you want in return, tell them, pass it on. Go make one person's life better in whatever way they need it. And when they ask what you want in return, tell them, pass it on. And so on and so on. You want to make the world better? One heart at a time is the only sure way to do it.
It is time to return to our own world.
Home?
You see, the system works. They do care.
It has been noted that you helped my prisoner pass his final test. Your efforts are appreciated. Yours too. It will serve you well in your quest to return home.
Wait, I have to say farewell to my friends and my guardian.
There is no time.
Okay, he resolves to make Earth better the right way, and they drag him away. A beam of light comes from the ceiling of the soundstage, and both Bill and his control disappear. He promises to work at home for Jesse's release, because this wouldn't be happening if not for Jesse. You'd think that might be enough to get both of them released, but bureaucracy.
And he didn't say where.
It is a personal journey he has to take.
I'm not surprised. Such a strange boy. He came almost out of the blue. It seemed... Somehow I always knew he would leave the same way.
He's so close. It's too bad Jesse can't fill in the gaps. He did the best he could.
No. He takes away with him your wisdom. We may never hear of his greatness, but I'm sure it will come.
Maybe he'll be back this way again sometime.
I too hope I shall see him soon.
Now we know the powers back home are listening to the reports they receive and are tracking the progress of their exiles. It hadn't come up before, and our writers found a fascinating way to convey it. There's only one episode left. We know we're headed for the unemployment line, but we are not going to crank out any junk even at the end. Pretty much all of our guest stars were relative unknowns, as I mentioned earlier, and they all did an excellent job. Good story, good acting, good production, good episode. Now, if we just had some good management, we might have a viable show. Sometimes it almost feels like someone sabotaged the show, but as the expression goes, don't bother attributing to malice what can be explained by basic stupidity. This episode is one. This man, I can say that expressions on in his going to try to be the clumsiest. Jesse statement could